Former NYPD officer John Cardillo joining us right now. John, we are hearing that had it not been for those Capitol Hill police, we could have seen a very, very different scene there today. What's your take on all of this?
Oh, absolutely, Neil. Absolutely. I think they are absolute heroes. And also, let's give credit to the Alexandria, Virginia Police Department that showed up seconds, basically, into the incident and engaged in gunfire with the now killed suspect. They did an absolute outstanding job, as did Representative Wenstrup, who was a combat surgeon in Iraq and triaged the wounds of Representative Scalise. So it made a tremendous difference from being just a tragedy and not a massacre.
You know, much has been said about whether everyone in Congress needs security protection or just the leadership as it stands now. You know, I'm sure there's going to be a heightened sense of police and security awareness over the next couple of days. Then what? What do you think?
Well, look, I'm a big Second Amendment advocate. I think it is absolutely ridiculous, with the vitriol we see from both sides, that members of Congress aren't authorized to carry firearms. It might be a bit cost ineffective to have a security detail for every one of them. Some might not need it, but at least let them carry firearms in the Capitol and wherever else they're going. They're public figures. There's a lot of hate directed at them. You and I receive it, you know, being in media on Facebook and Twitter. So you can imagine what a member of Congress must receive. I think the best line of defense for any American is a personal firearm, carrying a personal weapon.
You know, I'm also wondering, though, whether the environment has anything to do with it, whether this is a reminder for everyone to take the level of agita down a little bit. That might be oversimplifying things, but we know that the shooter had a history of being angry at Donald Trump, and as a Bernie Sanders supporter, a volunteer, I might add, that vitriol was obvious. But what do you do?
You know, I think the problem is that we on the right, and look, I'm biased, I'm on the right, many of us assume that there's still an ideological center. But these left-wing groups, on this guy's Facebook page, he had a little meme next to a photo of Bernie Sanders that said, "Democratic Socialism, we the people." So this guy wasn't just a Sanders supporter, he was a disciple of Alinsky and the violent radical tactics of the far, far left. I don't know if you can bring those people to the center for civil discourse. I don't know if that's possible anymore.
Do you ever think, John, that an incident like this might jar people to their senses? Sometimes it does. Rarely does it last. I even harken back to 9/11 when it seemed like both parties were on the same kind of kumbaya step, and then it got extreme again. I guess that's the nature of Washington, but it seems particularly nasty today, and I'm wondering whether anything can dial that back.
You know, unfortunately, I don't think this incident will, because fortunately no one was killed and everyone will come out of this okay after surgery. And so let's be realistic. The media cycle being what it is these days, this will probably be forgotten about in a week. As troubling as it is to say, no, I don't think this is going to change much when it comes to Antifa and these violent radical leftist groups saying, okay, let's bring it down a notch and come to the table.
I also want to get your take on the protection that is around and available. I guess there is a distinction, obviously, between the Capitol Police and Secret Service, but that they're going to be on extra guard, extra watch in light of this. But I always worry, to your earlier point, John, that it sort of ebbs with the events, that as the immediate concern dies down, so too that heightened awareness until the next incident.
Yeah, these are some of the most highly trained law enforcement people in the world. Capitol Police cross-trains with the Secret Service. But you and I have actually spoken about this before. These low-tech asymmetrical attacks, this one-off lunatic with a rifle and some political motivations, is impossible to detect. And so there'll be an increased presence. Local surrounding agencies like Alexandria, Prince George's County on the Maryland side will probably get additional briefings where members of Congress or the Senate might be for particular events, and they'll pay special attention, send more officers over to create a presence. Uniformed Secret Service will probably show up to supplement. But there's only so much you can do. There's only a finite amount of bodies in these agencies that can be deployed at any given time.
All right, Peter, thank you very much, especially under these trying circumstances, to put it mildly.